Some of the main charities that we work with tend to be the American Heart Association, the American Cancer Society with the Relay for Life.
We are intrinsic to this community. We provide a better quality of life for children through lobbying, through nutrition.
Hi, welcome to City Law, City Justice. I'm your host, Officer Dave Northway of the Tallahassee Police Department. Today we're going to be talking about charities and how TPD interacts with those charities in our community. My first guest today is Major Audrey Smith and Lieutenant Eric Childs. Thank you both for coming in today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
We know you have very busy schedules, and we know that you've taken some time out today, but we do a lot of things at TPD. We work in what our citizens are most aware of is the fact that we're in our police cars, we're out responding for calls for service, we're working traffic, we're out on traffic accidents, things of this nature in our school systems. But something else that we do that most people probably don't realize is we interact with many charities within our community. Can you maybe give us a little bit of information about how that occurs in our community? How do we set up those relationships? Major Smith?
Well, one of the things that we do is we partner with the different charitable organizations to raise funds for whatever their causes are. Some of the main charities that we work with tend to be the American Heart Association, the American Cancer Society with the Relay for Life, and also the United Way. But officers also work with a lot of other charities throughout the year. Right,
and the officers have the leeway, I guess, to make those partnerships. They go through all of our chain of command, though, and make sure that they are available to go. So, and we were remiss, I didn't even let anybody know what you do at our department. How about if we introduce exactly what you do at TPD?
Okay, I'm Audrey Smith, and I'm the major in charge of the Operations Bureau at Tallahassee Police Department. The Operations Bureau is the patrol division, which is the largest division within the organization. We have over 150 sworn officers, over 25 supervisors, and then we also have support staff. In addition to the patrol function, we also have specialty units such as our community-oriented policing squads, the gang response unit, community relations unit, K9, and also teleserve in the duty office. So we do quite a bit in the patrol division, which is we refer to as the backbone of the agency.
That absolutely is the backbone of the agency. It's a lot of people. Now we have another division, which is our criminal investigations division, where our traditional detectives are working, if you will, but
correct.
Patrol or the operations is over the patrol aspect of the work.
That's correct.
Is that right? And Lieutenant Childs, your job at TPD is what?
She's my boss.
Okay.
I work in the patrol division. I'm an administrative lieutenant, and I kind of handle all the administrative duties for my captain down there in patrol.
Okay. So day-to-day operations of what's going on,
That's
people
correct.
calling in sick, scheduling, things of this nature.
Yep.
Absolutely. But again, one of your duties that Major Smith may assign is to work an event that has to do with a charity. Would that be?
Certainly.
Would that be
certainly?
agreeable? And what entails something like that?
Well, just like the Major mentioned earlier, we do a lot of different charity work. One of our main charities is the Relay for Life.
Mm-hmm.
And so during raising money for the Relay for Life, we have breakfast sandwiches that we make for people working in the headquarters, and they come by and purchase breakfast to raise money for that particular charity. We also do the same thing for the United Way. Just this past year, I coordinated actually a fish fry, and we raised quite a bit of money for the United Way, over $1,000 for the United Way doing that fish fry. So we try to come up with some things because we have so many different charities that we're giving to. It's almost like you want to try to raise money, but you also want it to benefit the people that are giving you the money.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right. And we do, speaking of so many of them, there's a list of them pretty much. We do Silver Santa. We do Shop with a Cop. We do the Police Unity Tour. We do the Special Olympics. We do charities that raise money for the Special Olympics. The Torch Run that comes into town. The Capital, you actually oversaw the Capital City Challenge in your former life.
Yes, which is our motor officers have a rodeo with and invite motor units from all over the region to
And
come and compete.
not a vroom vroom, not a yeehaw rodeo, but a vroom vroom,
A vroom
rodeo,
vroom rodeo.
motorcycle rodeo.
Motorcycle rodeo, yes.
Okay.
And so all of the funds for raised at those events benefit the Special Olympics.
And all that money goes directly to those charities.
Correct.
That's great.
Yep.
So if I was a charity and I wanted to partner with TPD, how does that work? Is there a process that we must go through?
Usually the organizer for the event will come to the agency, speak with command staff or even someone in the chief's office, present their idea to the agency, and then we decide as an organization whether or not we will or will not participate. I can say that there are a lot of officers who decide individually to participate in charity, so even though we do a lot as the Tallahassee Police Department, there are quite a few of us who do charity work for individual organizations without going through the police department. So sometimes it's about who you know and getting things done, but mostly it's more so just trying to come to the agency, present your spiel, and then we will decide whether or not we were going to participate.
And you mentioned the individual officers doing things. I recall that one of our officers recently, in the last several years, has taken up doing charity runs, and he's gotten permission from the department to run in his uniform,
That's
including his boots and his belt. I believe he's done a marathon
He did.
in
Yes,
his
he
full
did.
uniform.
Full uniform.
Maybe you could expound on that one for our listeners.
Was that Sergeant Larimore?
Sergeant Larimore or Officer Ndara?
Andara.
Dara.
Officer Mo Ndara started doing long distance running, and he runs in uniform many times to raise awareness for the police department and also for the charity that he's working in to gain attention that way.
He does, and one of the runs that he did, I think, was in honor of our fallen officer, Mike
Yes.
Saunders. So
Yes. And that's another charity that people may not be aware of, but we do have, we do a lot of charity work for officers that were killed in the line of duty.
That's correct.
As well as our traditional charities. And we have the Police Unity Tour, and then we've done other runs, things like that.
Right. We also have the Dale Green Scholarship Fund
Okay.
raiser. Raise money for the Dale Green Scholarship.
And can you tell our listeners who Dale Green was?
Dale Green was an officer, sergeant that worked with Tallahassee Police Department for 14 years and was killed in the line of duty back in 2002. And so we raised money for his scholarship, and it goes to students who are seeking careers in law enforcement, who attend FSU and then go on to Pat Thomas Law Enforcement Academy.
Absolutely. We're coming to the end of our segment, if you can believe it already. I know you're not going to be able to stay with us. You have to get back to work. Is there something that you would like to tell our viewers before we go to the commercial break?
I just want to say that the charities that we all participate in are usually something that's near and dear to our hearts. We have officers who've had heart attacks, so therefore we participate with the American Heart Association. We know people who have battled or have lost the fight against cancer, so and hence we participate with the American Cancer Society. But we also do the United Way, which is an umbrella for quite a few charitable organizations that we have the luxury of making referrals to in our day-to-day activities as police officers. So everything that we do for charities is near and dear to our hearts.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy days to come in and stay with us for a minute. And we will be right back on City Law, City Justice.
Until all our daughters are safe. Until all our children have families. Until all our families have homes. Until all our parents are cared for. We'll be here.
Green, green, green. It's your home, it's your dream. Radon testing, keep it healthy and clean. Make it green, green, green.
Making it green starts from the ground up, so make sure the air in your home is healthy for your family to breathe. Test your home for the presence of radon. Go to epa.gov/radon.
Make it green, green, green.
Hi, and welcome back to City Law, City Justice. I'm Dave Northway, your host, and we are talking about charities today. And a little bit different here. We're going to now bring in two people who are not police officers, believe it or not. Nobody get excited. But we have Janine Nuzzo and Craig Hansen here, and they're both with the Heart Association. They have very interesting stories, and I'm going to just let them tell their story. So we'll start with you, Ms. Nuzzo. Tell us your story, please.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
As the Regional Director of American Heart Association, it's important that TPD participates in our Heart Walk on October the 11th, early in the morning. But also, I wanted to share with you one of our prize volunteers. Craig is going to share his story, but I wanted to tell you why I work for the AHA and why I not only sell the mission, but participate in the mission. I've received 9 pacemakers. I was born with a congenital heart disease. I am the statistic that 1 out of 3 people suffer from some type of cardiac abnormality. And also, 34 people in this country have a heart attack every hour, and 40 people in the United States suffer from stroke every hour in this nation. So I was born with a congenital heart disease, and luckily, while I was on the transplant list and taken home to spend the last day with my family, I was the recipient of the 56th pediatric pacemaker in the United States, which took me off the transplant list, and I was able to live a full life with 2 brothers, you know, drop kicking me and doing what brothers do. And I'm very thankful not only for the physicians that created that technology and the AHA for supporting the research to make it possible. You know, heart disease is the #1 killer in the nation. Stroke is the #4 killer in the nation. Heart disease affects women more than men, and that is why I brought Craig to give his testimony of his family. Craig, you want to tell him why you're here?
Absolutely, and Dave, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
My story doesn't have the happy ending Janine's does, unfortunately, but I lost my wife in January to heart disease. She had a heart attack unexpectedly. A 45-year-old woman who was a mother of 3 kids, a vibrant, active woman who played tennis, a professional who was a lawyer, lobbyist, active in the community in lots of different things, and it's one of those things where it was just a sudden heart attack that killed her. And because of that, and in honor of her memory, I felt compelled that I needed to be here and to help with this heart walk. And through this, I've learned so much about heart disease and how it impacts women, and the importance of getting checked annually by a physician. And also, I think the story that I can bring to the table is that heart disease impacts a lot of people in a lot of different ways, but it has impacted me and my family and Wendy's friends in a way that is one that has caused us to feel compelled that we need to get involved. We need to spread the word and help people know that there's things you can do to help prepare and try to be heart healthy.
And that's one of the reasons why we are involved with the charities that we are involved with. I'm very sorry for your loss, and I wish we could do more for you, but I do appreciate you coming out. It must be terrible to come out and talk about something like this. And again, thank you for doing so much for us and helping out with the charities that we are all involved with. Getting back to you, Janine, you told us something, though, that struck me when we first met, which was that pacemakers now are not even a thought. But at the time that you needed one, can you tell the audience about what the little click was that happened, the little glitch was at that point in time?
It's a great story. That technology came about in the most unorthodox way. The man that was here in the United States working on the research was shooed out of the United States by the health community. They thought that he was doing something unethical, and if we put batteries in people, what would that look like 30 years from now? Robots or people created by batteries. So he was shooed out, and then Europe was kind of coddling him and helping him along the way, but not quite getting his project off the ground. And then the American Heart Association and a few researchers had to rethink their stance on pacemakers. And when technology had come to a halt and research was going only so far in the United States, they needed relief for people like me that needed a defibrillator that wasn't a gigantic rolling cart that had to roll around with people everywhere they went to pace them or to defibrillate them. So they brought this man back with research dollars from events like the Heart Walk. That is why the Heart Walk is so important for revenue for the American Heart Association, and funded that research and created the first pacemaker with him. And like I said, I was a direct recipient, and I am a consumer of the AHA. And you know, I've had 9 of them. I have 2 children. I've ran a half marathon. My cardiologist told me I can only don't swim so far that you can't swim back. That is my only limitation, which is kind of a no-brainer.
I think that's for everybody. I don't think that has anything
Right.
to do with you.
But the quality of life I received was immediate. And I went from the child at a home video that's hanging onto the corner of her chair, bluish, breathing, struggling to breathe to stay alive, to middle school. I was the pitcher and the first baseman for my softball team. And I couldn't imagine being here without being a mom, and being here and not being able to be a mom, not being able to be a daughter, not being able to be all of those things to my family. And so I'm very grateful.
Well, we appreciate you telling us your story, because that is quite a story, and both stories are touching. They're amazing to me that you had to go through all of this. We are coming to the end of our segment. What have I not asked you that the people just need to know?
I think it's important for Tallahassee to know that although we are a national organization, we are intrinsic to this community. We provide a better quality of life for children through lobbying, through nutrition, through pulse oximetry for babies that are just born. High schoolers jump rope for heart. We fund medical research right here at Florida State. And all the way through guidelines through hospitals when you check in and you feel like you're having something's going on with your heart, or you feel like you may be having a stroke. So we encompass the community, and we really embrace TPD and the city of Tallahassee. We couldn't find a better pulse to the community through the city of Tallahassee and your support. So we're super grateful. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Craig, what have we not talked about yet?
I would just say that everyone reach out to the Heart Association and get involved with the Heart Walk coming up on October the 11th. And if you feel so inclined, make a donation to Team Wendy and get on board, and let's wipe out heart disease. Let's work together.
And speaking of that specifically, how does one, if they want to volunteer for the Heart Association, instead of just coming out and doing the walk, how does that work? Is there any restrictions, any guidelines they would need to follow? Can I sign up? How does that work?
You would go to www.bigbenheartwalk.org, and there is a slew of information on that website if you want to volunteer, if you want to donate. I think they give out my cell phone number. You have to pay extra to get that. No, but I'd be glad to answer any emails or any phone calls, and all my contact info is on there.
Okay, and again, the date of the Heart Walk is?
October the 11th.
Okay, and to sign up, the website is?
www.bigbenheartwalk.org. And it is at Tom Brown, and it begins at 7:30, well, 8 o'clock in the morning.
But you can get there at 7:30, and there'll be somebody there to talk to you.
Exactly.
So it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning at Tom Brown Park.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you very much both for coming in. I appreciate it, and sharing those stories. Again, thank you, and our hearts and our thoughts are with everybody who's with the American Heart Association, and we truly appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will be right back on City Law, City Justice.
That's been just 10 seconds. If you commit a crime and pull a gun, this will be your home for 10 years. Fire the gun, 20 years. Shoot someone, 25 years to life. 10-20 life is the law. Get the picture?
It's a career of courage.
It's a career of strength.
It's a career of honor.
It's a career of integrity.
It's a career of pride.
It's a career of commitment.
Character.
Honor.
Courage.
The Florida Department of Corrections. It's a career of courage.
The Florida Department of Transportation is teaming up with the City of Tallahassee to provide its toll-free 511 Traveler Information System. 511 offers real-time traffic reports on all of Florida's interstates, including I-10, toll roads, and other major metropolitan roadways. Travelers can call 511, Visit fl511.com, register for My Florida 511 personalized services, or download the free 511 app on iTunes for traffic updates. Twitter users can also get the latest traffic info by following FL511 on Twitter. So buckle up, drive safely, and check 511 for FDOT's real-time traffic information.
Hi, welcome back to City Law, City Justice. I'm Dave Northway, and we are talking about charities today and how TPD works with them. Hold your seats. We have yet another non-police officer on the set. I don't want to get anybody get too excited. Please welcome Colette Washington.
Thank you.
And then we have to have another cop, of course, and that's Officer Mike Scandoni. Thanks for being here, Mike.
Thank you, Dave.
Colette, I'm not going to try and introduce what you do because what you do is way too long of a title, so I'm just going to ask you to tell our viewers what you do for us.
Sure. Well, thank you first for having me.
You're welcome.
It's wonderful to be here and kind of spread awareness about our cause. My name is Colette Washington, and I am the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer advisor for the North Region. So it's with the American Cancer Society. I'm also on the Volunteer Leadership Council. So we do a lot of work in our community as it relates to several events with Relay for Life. We have the Cattle Barons Ball, and then of course Making Strides Against Breast Cancer. I got involved with the American Cancer Society when my mom was first diagnosed in 2005. And my mom wanted to do something to give back to the community and help others who were kind of going through the same things that she was feeling and going through with her treatment and all of those things. So we did our first walk in 2006, which was in Southwood, and it was an absolutely amazing opportunity. It was an opportunity to talk to other survivors, to other caregivers, which is where I come in. I'm not a survivor, but I'm a caregiver, and it's a role that is a very emotional one, especially when it's someone like my mother. So I am very happy to say throughout the years I have participated in the walk from being just a walker to a team captain, and then got involved with the committee. From the income vice chair, I was the event chair last year for the event, and now this year I've kind of taken on a bigger area, so the North Region. But it's absolutely so rewarding to meet so many people, to do so many things. The American Cancer Society has done so much for our local community. You know, we provide resources and free services, and that's how we're able to do it, is through the walks and our other events that we have. But specific to breast cancer, we have things like the Road to Recovery, which is where we have individuals that will transport patients to and from their treatments. It's very difficult when a loved one has to take off work for 4 hours or a whole day for chemo treatment. So the American Cancer Society actually provides that program where they can transport those individuals and really become a support system too for them. So it's a wonderful program, and it's not just limited to breast cancer, it's all types of cancer. We also have support groups like the Reach to Recovery ladies, who are survivors themselves, who have been there, done that. They know exactly what they're going through, from, you know, deciding what treatment they want to go, whether it's surgery or doing radiation or chemotherapy, those type of things, and then all the way to the post side of it, the aftercare, if you will. Wow. And then we have our research. The American Cancer Society is huge, and I can't tell you how important research is. You know, the focus of this whole mission is really to eradicate this disease. Right. And so early detection is key. That is prevention. Get those mammograms, do those self-breast exams. My mom would not be here today if it wasn't for the American Cancer Society and the research that was funded for the meds that keep all of these individuals alive. You know, that was in 2005, it's 2014, and my mom still has stage 4 breast cancer with a wonderful quality of life because of the medications that are available.
Excellent.
So it's awesome.
Officer Scandoni, you are a patrol officer for us. You're our
downtown police officer, assigned to the downtown area.
And so how, in gosh's name, did you get to this table to talk about charities?
Well, it was last year. I was actually on patrol downtown, and I saw City Hall and the state capitol all go into pink, you know, back in October. And so I went over to our city.
Not to interrupt you, but pink is for
breast cancer
there we go.
awareness.
Pink is the color for breast cancer
Yes.
awareness. Okay.
So I was excited about that, and so I went over to our fleet division, and they have a graphic designer over there, and I talked to a few people, and I thought about, why don't we put the logo, the breast cancer ribbon on the hood of my car.
Your patrol car.
Right, because I'm downtown and a lot of folks would, see it, and I thought it would make a great awareness, and then the police department would be a part of this also. Everybody thought it was a great idea. I got approved through the deputy chief to the chief of police, and they all thought it was great. The graphic designer took off, and he said, the ribbon does look great, but I think I can do the whole car in pink and still keep the police logos and stuff like that. And so they mocked it up, and they got everybody to look at it, and they went with it. And we actually, the day that I thought of the idea, they had it done by 2 o'clock that day. The car was completely wrapped, and it looked great. And we drove it around, and people stopped, took pictures. Being downtown where there's a lot of legislators and all that stuff, they just thought it was a great idea. And now you see, other cab companies even doing the pink cars and things like that. So it was just a part that I thought, we could, make the awareness.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
And obviously it has, because we have many social media sites that we use. We've posted them on there. Thousands and thousands of people have gotten to take a look at them, all because of your idea, and we thank you for that.
Right. And the breast cancer was the first one, and right now on my car today is the American Heart Association's, and we've had other ones like the National Law Enforcement Memorial that was back in May. So with the deputy chief and the chief and command staff, they're really supportive of that. So we change these things up every few months.
Excellent.
And
awesome.
It's gotten a great response from the community.
Awesome. Colette, we talked in the last segment about how we could help out with everybody's cause. How can we help with your cause?
Absolutely. So all you have to do, the biggest thing is we've got to raise funds for our local resources and for research, and it's easy to do. You just go to our website, makingstrideswalk.org, sign up a team, fundraise, come out and walk with us. It's really like a downtown get down, but it's pink. It's in Cascades Park this year, so we're really excited about that, and it is on Sunday, October 19th. Pre-registration's at 11, but the walk, it's a 5K walk, actually starts at 1 o'clock. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful event this year.
And I bet our pink car will be there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
We're coming to the end of our segment and also the end of our show. Anything that, as I always ask, what haven't I told the viewers, or haven't I asked you to tell our viewers?
Well, I just challenge our community, encourage our community to spread awareness about all of the different types of cancers, and there's so many wonderful nonprofit organizations in our community, and you guys are a huge part of that in giving back and helping us with the awareness. But I encourage others in our community to do the same. Get involved, sign up to walk, help us raise these funds so we can eradicate this disease, and just come out and have a good time.
And if I want to go see your car, where would I find you?
Monday through Friday downtown, business hours, and you'll always see it running around.
So you're a banker, is that what you're telling us, Officer Scandoni?
Well.
So you're in the downtown area, obviously, near the
During the
Capitol, near the City Hall, that area right in there.
Yep.
All right, and you'd be more than happy to let people take pictures with you, I'm guessing?
Yes.
All right.
Anything to encourage the cause.
Absolutely. Thank both of you for being here.
Thank you so much.
And we will hopefully have you come back one of these days.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
We will see you next time on City Law, City Justice.